Hello everyone, welcome to another Hardcore Bob plugin tutorial. Today we've got my old pal Amigo joining us. Say hello, Amigo. Today we'll be talking about the very famous Saturn by Fab Filter. Saturation is the name of the game today, folks. That's what this plugin is all about. The song we'll be demoing today is a song called Bed on Fire, recorded by the very lovely Michel Jackson. Let's listen to a clip of the chorus.
You and I, let's set this bed on fire. Won't let the lights get higher.
Just heartbreaking, isn't it? Our protagonist is so overwhelmed with love, she must threaten to set his bed on fire. And what better way to do that than with a little saturation? So let's go ahead and take a peek at the plugin here. At its surface, it's not all that scary. A couple sliders and knobs is all. Now you might be asking yourself, hey Bob, what is saturation anyway? Well, alright, so there you have it. Saturation is effectively a subtle form of distortion that adds pleasant harmonics to a sound, sort of mimicking the old hardware of the analog era. The first thing you'll want to bring your attention to is this little drop-down menu over here. These are effectively the different kinds of saturation you might want. Of course, these are listed in order of intensity here, so we're going from cleaner, clean tube and warm tube, all the way to rectify and destroy, which I think will be quite nice for this song. Over here you'll find our good friend the mix knob. We all know what that does. It's just a good old dry wet signal knob. Over here you'll find our main big knob. The inner knob controls the amount of distortion or saturation, while the outer knob controls the left and right pan, so that we can pan where we'd like to hear these extra harmonics. Of course, over here we have our amp style basic EQ knobs, so that we can adjust and carve the tone of the sound: bass, mid, treble, and high presence. Over here we have the gain knob for how loud would you like those frequencies to be, and another left and right pan knob. Over here you might want to make a little pit stop at some of these presets here, which I'm sure you'll just get a great kick out of. So let's start out by putting a little Saturn on the piano bus. As you can hear, the piano is quite clean and doesn't really give off the message of an arsonist has set my home on fire. So let's go ahead and give some saturation to the piano. I have it set to clean tube right now, but maybe let's give it a little bit more intensity. Okay, maybe a little stronger. What does that do? Add some, okay, lead amp. Heavy saturation. Let's go with rectify. Okay, let's rectify. It's nice. Well, we're turning up the heat now, aren't we? Now the drive knob is only at 20% here. Let's go ahead and turn that up a bit. Now over here we've got feedback and frequency, and there's a line here because I think they're connected. What do you think of when you think of feedback? What I think of is that really cool moment when a rock star walks up to his guitar amp with his guitar and that feedback loop starts. I just think it's the neatest thing, and that's sort of what this feedback knob does. We'll use the frequency knob to choose a frequency, and then we'll use the feedback knob to amplify that frequency and give it that feedback effect. Then we have our dynamics knob, which is basically like a compressor. All the way to the right, it really squashes the signal, and of course all the way to the left makes it more dynamic. Let's put a little saturator on Michel's voice. Now over here, let's carve the tone of our vocal with these tone knobs.
Just give me one more night of
A little bass.
you and
Okay, let's
let's
add a little
set
mid.
this bed on fire.
Some treble.
Just give
Now let's give it a little
you
presence.
and I.
Just those subtle touches make all the difference, don't they? Now you might notice this little plus sign floating around here. By clicking this little plus sign, you can turn Saturn into a multi-band plugin. What's just delicious about that is that you can separately affect each band as you wish. And as I click on each band, you'll see that the settings move along with it. To delete a band, simply click on one of these bands and then hit the X on its settings bar. This is also a great way to EQ the overall sound by changing the volume levels of each frequency band.
Just give me one
Now folks, I still haven't shown you quite possibly the most exciting part of Saturn, which is this modulation area down here. Let's add a parameter here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's take this LFO parameter for example. By clicking down here, I can choose any one of these parameters up here to affect with the LFO. So for example, let's take our bass. So once again, you hit modulation here, you add source, let's add an LFO tool. Now let's add an LFO to our bass parameter. Now isn't that just neat? Let's add another one to the mids. And let's add another one to our treble. And as I make new attachments, you'll see that I can affect each of them differently simply by clicking on them. And you can add all sorts of parameters here. There's envelope shaping and all that, but folks, we're just scratching the surface. As you can see, the possibilities with this plugin are absolutely endless. And that is why FabFilter Saturn is one of my top 5 favorite plugins to put on everything. So let's go ahead and put some Saturn on.
Just give me one more night of you and
Did you hear the difference? Here's without.
Just give me one more night of you and I.
And with. One more time without.
Just give me one more night of you and I, you and I.
And with a modulation this time. Now that's truly how I would feel if I were on fire. Okay folks, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. And of course you can find the link in the description below on where to find Saturn and purchase it for yourself. Now get out there and make some beautiful music. And I'll see you next time on Hardcore Bob.